It's a Choppin' Wood Wednesday, guys. Palmer, I want to start with you because I know what your topic is already, and I think some pretty interesting things came of it.
Yeah, so I am chopping wood about yesterday's Georgia Athletics Association Board of Directors meeting. Attended that. It's some interesting conversation. I actually, and this may surprise Jake, and he's probably going to be glad to hear this. I do enjoy going to those because I enjoy hearing about you can see Jake in the bottom part of my screen here giving a little fist pump. I do enjoy hearing about the updates within the athletic program. Maybe after I go to more than 3 or 4, it'll wear upon me. But yesterday's meeting, Josh Brooks shared updates. The whole board shared updates. Georgia finished with the highest GPA for a fall semester in terms of overall athletics, 3.22 there. Fundraising, they had a record-setting fundraising year. The Athletic Association did last year, and they are currently on track to beat that again this year for 2022-23.
Print money.
Yeah. And then the biggest news to me is always the facility stuff when there is facility stuff. Foley Field undergoing some renovations. That's already been known. There were some photos that were shown of that, though, some initial design stuff. And Stegman Coliseum, home of the Hoop Hounds, going to, for men's basketball starting next season, is going to have some seating arrangement changes. They're going to add a section onto the student section, putting them past half court behind the TV announcers on the sideline. They're going to be closer to the court, all with the goal in mind of creating a better home court atmosphere and advantage and experience for everyone, fans, students, student athletes. They're flipping where the benches are. Georgia's opponents will now, what that does is it creates the Georgia opponent shooting into the student section in the second half. Georgia, Mike White was very involved in all this, wrote a little bit about that. You can go check out what he had to say after last night's game about the changes, what Josh Brooks had to say. But in my mind, very important changes that are being made to take the basketball program and Stegman Coliseum in the right direction.
Yeah, the Foley Field mock-ups look awesome.
Yeah, they really do. I can share those with you if you want to share them on here, Wes.
Yeah, I've heard that they've already done a lot of work at Sanford, too, expanding the concourses, opening those up. So you'll start to see some of those differences.
I'm not sure, Palmer. Did they mention that? Or do we get another year in the press box at the 50? Or are they moving us to the corner?
One more year.
Good times. Enjoy it while you can before it's Auburn.
And it's going to be limited seating for G-Day this year. South stands are going to be closed because of the renovations, similar to what it was for the championship celebration. Wes, I just sent you a rendition of the Foley Field plus the new Stegman seating.
Firing it up now.
Am I wrong in thinking that Stegman could be really cool if they treated it right?
I mean, I think Stegman's pretty cool as it is. It's just it's not all that big. I mean, listen, if you've ever driven by Rupp Arena, I've done it one time. Palmer was in the car with me. I've never seen anything like that on a college campus. I mean, it literally looks like you're driving through downtown LA. It's Rupp live. So you're not ever going to have anything like that. But Stegman is fine.
Delta Club.
Yeah.
So that's going to be right down the left field line, like you can see there. They'll have indoor pitching facilities, hitting facilities. It looks like some new concessions, and it's going to create a new entrance on that street. Blanking on what the name of that street is, but
what are these people
I can't remember the name of it either.
It's not Carlton Street.
No, Carlton runs in front of Stegman.
Is it Smith Street?
Maybe. Who knows?
that street, that
Palmer,
Wednesday.
fire up a Google map for us.
I'm doing it. That street, that Wednesday.
I bet Claude Felton knows what the name of that street is.
I guarantee you he does.
So,
But and Josh has said this, it doesn't change much about the actual Foley experience for the fans, but what it does is it's a student athlete focused renovation to try and make Georgia more competitive with the rest of the SEC, where Mississippi State has poured in millions and millions and millions already. Georgia has not done that in terms of the actual the amenities for the student athletes.
That is Rutherford.
I found Rutherford.
Yeah.
I found Palmer, guys.
That might actually be me. That's kind of where my seat has been in the past.
One of 6 people in the press box.
The nose is a little long.
Yeah. I mean, your best bet is to assume that that's Anthony Dasher.
It's Palm Dash.
Oh, it's definitely Dasher.
Yeah, and Antonio Antoine Anthony Dasher covered a lot of
That man
baseball games.
Loves Georgia baseball.
He does. He loves. He just loves baseball, man. That's one thing I love about Dash is that man is a baseball purist. He plays in a fantasy league that is like American League only, draft in person.
Listen, I knew of Dash to take one day off when Georgia was actually participating, and it was for his fantasy baseball draft. He would, if Georgia football was going on, he was on, man. But if the fantasy baseball draft was on, that was the one day he ever
spring practice. One
Good
day
dude,
during
man.
spring
Salt
practice.
of the earth. Love that guy.
He is a great guy. He is great. I'll chop wood about something I wrote about today. I saw the returning production list from Bill Connolly at ESPN's been going around, and I've seen some Mizzou fans, some Kentucky fans, Tennessee fans feel confident based on that ranking because they finished higher than Georgia in the returning production metric. And I added those things up. It's a premium piece over at DawgsHQ.com. Great news if you're a subscriber. Great opportunity to try out our promo deal if you aren't. But if you take Tennessee out, every team that finished ahead of Georgia in the SEC anyway, in the returning production metric, if you add up all those wins and losses, that team is below 500. So it doesn't really tell you everything you think it does. Just because you have a lot of production coming back, like A&M has the most, it doesn't mean you're good. Sometimes you just have bad production coming back. I do think it could be a good sign for Tennessee, though, with the Vols getting the Dogs in Athens, but still seems to me like there's a wide gap between those two programs, even though people want to say it's going to be a huge rivalry. I'm just not seeing it yet. But Choppin, what about that? Returning production rankings don't always tell you the full story because Georgia missed out on a lot of returning production last year on the defensive side of the ball, and they won back-to-back national championships.
Is anyone else surprised that A&M has returning production considering everyone entering the transfer portal?
Yeah, no doubt.
They got someone coming back. They got somebody.
They got a nice Smith coming back. That the quarterback, the one that ended the year. They got some dudes.
Connor Wegman, is that?
Yeah, they got some good players. They got 5 techs out the wazoo. I mean, they got 5 techs for days.
Yes.
Georgia would probably love for one of those guys to enter the portal so it could pick one up. Lebus Overton, LT Overton.
The one kid from Arizona did.
Yeah, and I can't remember. I don't know where he went.
I don't know where he landed, but yeah,
he did commit somewhere though. I did see that.
Yeah. What was it? Justin, I think was his name, if I'm not mistaken.
Timberlake.
Yeah, Timberlake. Yeah, I think that was it. All right, Roe looks still deep in thought. He's still coming up with his. I think.
No, I've got mine. I was going to chop wood on Jennifer Connelly since we were talking about Bill Connelly.
Okay,
Jennifer Connelly in that Top Gun movie. I mean, fine wine, brother.
Fine wine indeed.
Now, I'm going to chop wood tonight about talking to a lot of 2024, 2025, and 2026 kids. I've done a lot of that over the last couple of days, and we'll have a bunch of updates coming over at DawgsHQ. So get over there and check those out because those will be premium stories. But the refrain is similar amongst them all. A lot of kids are shocked. They're surprised. They are really just taken aback by an offer from Georgia. I spoke to Marcus Downs, who's an emerging name out of Taylor, South Carolina, just outside of Greenville. And he told me he got chills when he was offered by the Bulldogs. He said, I was kind of an under the radar guy. Georgia offered me and it just gave me chills. And it's similar stuff like that kind of all the time. And it's not even specific to a position. I've talked to a couple of wide receivers who are saying, look, that whole room is full of dogs, man. Those guys know what they have to do. They take care of their business. They handle it. The message is clear. And Georgia currently sits as the number one class in 2024. Georgia has a very real chance to be the number one overall class in 2024. But like I said, the refrains are the same, and the message to these kids is clear. You're hearing the same things, or you're starting to hear those same things because of Georgia's sustained success, not only over these last 2 years, but under the Kirby Smart era, which these kids have grown up in, that you started to hear about Alabama. It's some of that same talk. So I think that that's really impactful. I think that that's the kind of stuff that pays dividends for years to come. And like I said, a lot of stuff to watch for over at DawgsHQ when it comes to these updates, but really positive returns on this stuff. It's not going unnoticed with recruits, as you might expect.
Was the A&M transfer edge Anthony Lucas?
Yes, it was. I'm sorry. It was not Justin. It was Anthony Lucas, yeah.
Committed to USC.
Oh, that makes sense.
I'm going to chop wood on A.J. Green, the retired A.J. Green, and how fortunate I feel to have watched A.J. make that catch at Colorado and do a lot of other stuff. And A.J. Green never won anything in his career. He never won a Super Bowl. He didn't win an SEC title. He didn't win a national title. But I'm here to tell you that as somebody who has talked to a lot of people that know A.J. Green, it doesn't work out the way you think it does sometimes, where only champions win championships, because A.J. Green is one. He has given back so much to the University of Georgia. His highlights are everywhere because he was that special. He got robbed of 4 games in his final season at Georgia for something that is as widespread as, I don't know, spending $1 is these days. He was a special player. He was one of the greatest, most talented football players in Georgia history. An injury here, a 4-game suspension there, changed everything. He would have been a 2-time 1,000-yard receiver. A lot of folks don't remember that it was A.J. Green getting dinged up before the We Run This State game that allowed the We Run This State game to take place, because Georgia did not want to throw the football a whole lot because they didn't have him. He played for 3 different quarterbacks at Georgia and was drafted number 4 overall. Georgia's highest ever drafted wide receiver in the NFL draft. And, we can blame it on Andy Dalton. We can blame it on playing for Cincinnati. Do whatever you want. I don't really care. It doesn't matter. He was one of the best wide receivers in the NFL. Body gave way for him there too, for whatever reason. But A.J. Green is a special, special person, special individual. And one of the best recruiting stories to ever be told was the time when A.J. Green was firmly committed to Georgia, recruited by John Fabris. And he heard Steve Spurrier, South Carolina Gamecocks head coach, was coming to Summerville High School. A.J. Green played hooky and laid home sick, so he didn't have to talk to the old ball coach. I'm not 100% that's true. I'll do like Tommy Lee Jones.
Real to me, damn it.
I'll do it like Tommy Lee Jones in No Country for Old Men when she called and said, "There was that story you told me true." He goes, "Well, it's true that it was a story," and that's what I'll say about that. But A.J. Green, awesome, damn good dog, great career, and probably pretty sure you're not seeing his face anymore. You're not done seeing his face around the Georgia program. At least as it pertains to having an impact. He's still going to give, and he's still going to be around, and I'm sure Georgia's going to embrace him as much as they possibly can.
Yeah.
I said on the board the other day, we were talking about him. A lot of people don't realize the lingering impact A.J. Green had on underclassmen, high school recruits when it came to Georgia's wide receiver position. There were not a lot of marquee names that came out after A.J. Green, guys that really stood out in the NFL, and kids consistently pointed to A.J. Green and said, that's a guy that I idolize. That's a guy I want to be like. And he played at the University of Georgia. I think that his impact was very widely felt on the recruiting trail for a long, long time. So kudos to him for that too.
Yeah, it's a shame, man, that, his career at Georgia was as much of a bummer as it was. I'm not saying he individually, but just those Georgia teams didn't have as much success. Guys like him and Stafford, to a certain extent, I don't feel like Georgia fans are as endeared to them. Maybe it's for those reasons, maybe for different reasons. But he was every bit of that recruit in college. He just didn't have the teams that reflected that. So
yeah,
I'm excited to hear that, Ro. If he is around the program a lot more, that's only a good thing for Georgia.
Andy Stowe, I do want to bring this up. If you haven't seen the high school catch that he's referring to from AJ Green, don't go to bed at night without seeing it. You got a smartphone, you can lay there and, next to your wife or your husband or whoever you're with tonight, mistress, mister, I don't care, and just look it up. Just if you're from Alabama, your sister.
Wake up your kid, right now and go show him the video.
I haven't seen it.
Just look it up. It's easy.
If you're with your mistress, I'm going to tell you maybe put the phone down. Your kids might be trying to FaceTime you.
So just looking up,
we don't endorse that
high school catch. It'll come up.
Yeah,
a one-handed catch, 34-second clip.
Ro, when you were talking about the fact that he didn't win much at Georgia, he didn't win a championship, he never won anything. My brother, it reminded me of my brother's rec league football career. I believe he played.
Goodness.
I believe he played 2 seasons.
Armadillo.
It was an armadillo.
He never won a single game.
Oh,
he never won a game, and just hung up the cleats after that. Yeah, everybody needs to experience the sweet taste of victory.
I would dare say that anybody who was around for the AJ Green era at Georgia who played fantasy football had him on their fantasy football team at least once over the course of his career.
No doubt.
I just found the video here. Let's see. I remember someone said that this was their first recruiting memory, and this is like nostalgia for me, man. I remember watching this.
Oh.
On repeat.
Aaron Self now at Summerville, by the way, Drew.
Oh, how about that?
Yeah.
Yeah, y'all go watch this. We'll end the show on that note. AJ Green, DGD, y'all have DGDs in the comments. Hit like and subscribe if you don't already. Thanks for watching the Georgia Show. And head on over to DawgsHQ.com. Give that premium membership a spin. A lot more going on over there this week and as we lead up to the NFL draft. We'll catch you next time we do this. See ya.